In this video today, I'm going to help you by giving you 3 essential passing chords that have been of great benefit to myself, and I think it will be able to be a great asset to have in your toolbox in terms of chord creation, in terms of establishing chord progressions and adding more movement between the chords. We're going to be in the key of C, and this is the major scale. Now it's really imperative when you're creating chord progressions to relate it to, in this case we're going to be in the key of C, but whatever key that you're in, it's imperative that you're fully aware of what that major scale is. Major or minor scale, dare I say. So today we're going to be in the world of C major. Now it's important to put numbers. So the first degree of the major scale, if I do it on my left hand, we're going to have 1, 2, 3. The corresponding chords that will go with that would be C major, chord 1, D minor, and E minor. So chord 1, chord 2, chord 3. Then we're going to have our F, which will be the 4, the G would be the 5, the A would be the 6. So we're going to put an F major chord to that. That's chord 4, chord 5, chord 6. So if we recap from the start, chord 1, chord 2, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, and then the final one will be chord 7, either played as a diminished or more commonly heard be a first inversion of a G major chord of the chord 5. So essentially we're playing chord 5 on the right hand, but playing the first inversion note on the B, and then finishing on our home. So we have chord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can play it like this with the right hand. I've just inverted the G and moved it up an octave, and then finishing on our home. So the first option in terms of being able to play passing chords creatively, quite a simple option but very effective, is approaching whichever chord you're going to be going to, preempt it by either going up a tone or going up to the next note of the scale, or going below and then going to the chord that you're going to. So for example, if I want to go to chord 1, I could approach it from D and then playing a C. So I'm just going from my D and coming back down. Likewise, if I want to come up from below, I could play 7 to 1. Yeah. Likewise, going to F. So if I know I'm going to be going to F, I could approach it from below. I could come from the E minor, or likewise I could come up from the G. So we're just basing it all on the major scale and just approaching it either from the next note above or the next note below. So if we had a chord progression that's C major, E minor, F major, simple as that. If I give you some time to it, if it was like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could think about it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see what I did? I approached the F by playing a G before it. One more time. This is the fundamental chord progression. Now I'm going to add in my passing chord of G before the F. Okay. What if now we started on, say, A minor? So say the chord progression, the foundation was A minor, and then D minor, and then F major, and then say we finish on the E major. Yeah, bringing it back around to A minor, D minor, F, and then E major. So A minor, I could do a passing chord here. Going to my D, I just approached it from the next scale note, so which would be the 1 or the C major below. Going up to my F, and then finishing with my E major. It's as simple as that. Likewise, if we had a chord progression that was, say, starting on F major, G major, and then C major, so something like this. we could do. So I approach the C major chord from the note below. So there, super simple, but that's option number 1 in terms of passing chords, incorporating the next scale note that's either higher or lower from the note going to the note that you're going to. All right, so that's option number 1. Option number 2 is where it gets interesting now and goes back to what I was referring to before in terms of really having a firm idea of major scales. We're going to be looking at 5-to-1 harmony. So in music, going from 5 to 1, that's going to be one of the most common and one of the most strongest relationships you're going to hear chord-wise. Going from that 5, it's super complete. Simple as that. So if, say, I have a C major chord going to an F major chord and then a G major chord, and then I want to go back to F major. So that's the foundation. So we have C, F, G, going back to F. If I think, okay, at some point I want to include a passing chord in relation to the 5 of my destination. So we know we have a C chord, F, G. Say for that G, because after the G it's going to go back to F. So say for that G, to approach the G, I would think to myself, in relation to the G major scale, because that's my destination, what is the 5 of that scale? And what is the corresponding chord we'd need? Well, it would be D major. So it's going to get interesting here because we're going to be pulling from some other notes outside of the key of C, but it's going to work beautifully. So check this out. This is the foundation, C, which goes to F, G, and back to F. So to go to that G, I'm going to approach it from a 5th, the 5th of G, which will be D major before. Check it out. So it's going to be a C, going to F. I'm going to approach the G like this. Ah, yeah. Ah, take it out. Yeah. Now we know we're going to go to that F to finish. So what would happen if we did a passing chord that was a 5th away from that F major scale, from that F major note using the F major scale? So in relation to F, the C is what we need. So it would be a C major chord. That would be the passing note. That would be the 5th away from the F. So let's look at that. So we've got C chord going to our F chord. Now we're going to G via the back door of D major as a chord, which is our 5 of our G. And then we're going to go to C, F, because we knew that we were going to go to F, and the C is the 5th of F. So this is our passing chord. Beautiful, beautiful. What if we did the same thing in a different context then? Say we started on A minor, went to D minor, went to F, and went to C. So you got A minor, D minor, F, and C. So say we want to approach, say even coming back round to the A minor in fact. So this is our chord progression. Going to F now. C. So I'm going to think in relation to that E minor scale, which would be our harmonic minor. The 5th away, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be an E, and it would have to be an E major in relation to that scale. So it's going to get super interesting here because ultimately we're in the key of C, but we're going to incorporate this E major scale. This E major chord as a passing chord. Here we go. So A minor, D minor, going to F, C. Now we've got our passing chord here to take us back, because that is the 5 of where we're going to, our destination. That's beautiful. And you could even broaden it a bit more. Rather than just playing an E major, one of my favorite chords to play in this context would be some kind of 7 chord. Could even add in the 9. Ooh. One of my favorite ones would be this one, a sharp 5, sharp 9 in relation to E7. Hear how it sounds. I'll give you the option which just has E major, and then I'll give you the E7, sharp 5, sharp 9 option. See which one you like. So A minor, going to D minor now, up to F, C, passing chord. Yeah. I'm going to give you on the E, I'm going to give you E7, sharp 5, sharp 9. Check it out. Yeah. Beautiful chord, in my opinion. So, we had option number 1. I've given you option number 2 now. So just to recap, option number 1 had the idea of looking at either the next scale note above or below in terms of where you're going to have as your destination. Then option number 2 was thinking about the 5, so the 5th away. So my final option that I'm going to give to you is actually building on this idea of 5 harmony, 5th harmony. You could call it circle of fifths. We're going to actually be looking at a 2-5 option. So let me give you some insights into that. We're still in the key of C. So in relation to C, we know that we can play the 5th away as a passing chord. But what's beautiful is that you can extend it a bit. You can extend it a bit further to think, okay, if this is the 5 of my destination C, you could think creatively. So what is the 5 of the 5? So in this context, what is the 5 of the G? It would be a D. So this is why we could call it 2-5-1, because you've got this note, which is the 2nd. So ultimately we're going to be going to C. So we're playing the 2nd degree, and then the 5th degree, and then the home. And the 2 and the 5 represent passing chords. So for example, if I had a chord progression that just had C in it, I could pass right here. 2-5-1. Or I could even do a D major if I wanted to. 2-5-1. The D major approach is thinking more so in relation to that G situation. So ultimately, I know that G is a passing chord. That's my 5-1. But then you could take it a step further. Now there's 2 ways to think about it. You could think about it in relation to the key destination that you're going to, C. What is a 2-5 in that key? Or you could stretch it a bit further and think, okay, if I'm going to be playing a G chord, which is my 5, in the context of G, what would the 5 be? So essentially we're doing a 5 of G and then a 5 of C. So the 5 of G would have to be D major. And then the 5 of C, ultimately where we're going to, is going to be our G. So you got a D major, a G major, and then a C major. So you got that option to choose in terms of the 2. You could either play it as a major or minor chord based on how I've explained it. For now, as we're going to be having C as our destination, let's just think about it as a minor, because in relation to C, D would be minor, yeah, fundamentally. So that might be easier to follow at this stage, especially if you're new to this. So we've got our 2-5-1. Now it gets super interesting here, especially when you apply it to minor chords. I'll give you an example. Check this out. So say we have a chord progression that's C major, A minor, F major, and then G major. If I think to myself, okay, if I'm going to be going to that A minor chord, what is the 5 of that? Well, that's my scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 5 would be an E major, but then what would the 2 be in relation to that A minor? Well, actually, it's going to be our diminished. So we would have our 2 of A minor, because ultimately we're starting on C, but we know we're going to A minor. So we're thinking in this context, what is a 2-5-1 going to an A minor? Well, it would be like this. Here, here, Yes. Yes. So remember the foundation. We have C, then we're going to A minor, then we're going to F major, and then we're going to G major. So we're going to do a 2-5-1 going to A minor. So I'm thinking to myself, what is the 2 in A minor? It would be this. Then the 5 would be our, and then our A minor would be our right there. Now, if I wanted to extend this further and do a 2-5-1 going to the next chord, which is fundamentally going to be F, because remember in the chord progression we had C, A minor, then F. So in the context of F major, this is the F major scale, what would a 2-5-1 be? Well, the 2 in the key of F would be would be G minor, and then the 5 would be a C, and then we would finish on the F. So we have to fit in this chord and then that chord and then go into here. That's our 2-5-1 in the context of F, which is our destination. So remember the foundation we have, which is C, going to A minor, then we go to F, and then we're going to go to G. Now we're going to include these passing chords, 2-5-1 is going to A minor. This is our 2-5-1, and then we're going to do a 2-5-1 here, 2-5-1 going to F. And if you've kind of heard that sound before, well, now this is really giving you the insights in terms of how those passing chords are created. So there you go, 3 essential passing chord tips I think will be super helpful for you to practice, not only in the key of C, but throughout the keyboard in all 12 keys. It's imperative that you do that, so then you're never ever limited in terms of your creation process. So there you go. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.